Defying gravity. Ever wonder how these things stay off the ground and not fall over? Center of reference here. This is straight up. Straight up. Big old white oak. And like 99% of the tree, if you put a mark right at the very top of the tree. I'm gonna put a stick here. You know, pointing up. This is interesting. So look, the stick. Yeah, stick. That stick right there. That stick. Put another one. Those sticks. See those sticks? Representing up, straight up, vertical. At the actual flare of the tree. Tree's on a slope. But this is maybe not to the untrained eye, but to me, I'm like, again, I'm gonna take a video just to show phototropism and trees defying gravity. So there's the stick, goes straight up. The entire tree is past the root crown. The whole thing, all that weight is pointed outward. Nothing over this side of the root crown. And as far as hazard tree identification, the fact that that thing just stays they may not look it on tape, but those are big limbs. That's just this one here. This limb here is huge and heavy. That first limb there. Let's see. That limb right there. That limb is about 14 inches in diameter, and it goes straight out. And then it bifurcates into 4 other limbs, which just keeps going. Of course, right now it's defoliated. But the fact that that is on there and hasn't torn out is kind of amazing, if not a miracle. That's a bad sign. That's like root rot center. I'm not sure what that is, but something in the ground. So I'm directly underneath it now. There it is. See that limb? Just that one limb. Again, that limb. It's got codominant fork, and it keeps on going. The Oregon white oak, of course, but just this location here is the reason it has never been trimmed. We're at Bush Park. Beautiful, beautiful Bush Park. It's really a jewel. Like one of the best parts of Salem is Bush Park. So I'll just show you guys. I like to go look at stuff that's been in the ground for 100 years or more. I can't remember how long this park's been here. 140 years, 50 years. But white oaks. White oak. Not much mistletoe in Salem area. A little bit. I mean, that's really hardly anything. Oh yeah, we're at the park again. Another white oak. Oregon white oak. See, this one's straight up and down, all nice and balanced. And there's one over here by the track. It's Willamette University's track. I mean, obviously old. urban trees. This one's been cared for. This is like a textbook white oak. That is really nice. Probably been pruned 15 different times in the last 50 years just to keep all the dead wood out. This one had a little tear. You can see that was half the parent stem coming out. That in itself is kind of amazing. You can see the amount of wound wood that grew back. That shows how much live wood is on the tree. It's got about, that much is live wood. The rest of it's dead pith wood, heartwood. But again, Oregon white oak. From this side, you wouldn't quite notice that tear. I mean, you do. You can see how much is gone. Look, that was probably from an ice storm. It'd be like that left half over there pulling clear off the tree. Good place for a bird nest. Real good place for a bird nest. Once that decays out, makes a cavity. Moss, the air indicator is the moss. Color of the moss shows the quality of the air. Moss is the best indicator. So if it's bright green, there's no pollution in the air, and if it's brownish, darkish green, you can kind of see how foul the air is. And that new growth, the moss up there, that new greeny green, you can see it. That's how much rain we've been getting. That moss alone is 40 years old. You can see that. Anyways, let's see if we can make it to this wisteria up here. This wisteria that I always tell everybody about because it's kind of the nicest thing in town. If you're around Bush Park, this is a great place just to do a little tour. They got the Soapbox Derby track, right? And this is like, California. California black oak, I want to say. I really do want to say California black oak. It's definitely not Oregon white oak. Yeah, there's two of them. Maybe scarlet oak. Scarlet oak. It's not pin oak. These things are massive. One of my customers had a tree like this in Southern Oregon. Really about like that. And we were gonna clean it out for her until she found out how much it was gonna cost. I gave her a price of $5,000. About 3 days of climbing on this kind of thing. Like every second's death-defying climbing. Because it was out in the middle of orchard, you couldn't get to it with tractor or equipment or anything. This would be like 3, just to get the mistletoe down. Okay, so that wisteria is right over here. Fruit wall. Anybody ever seen a fruit wall before? Tie down an apple tree. Basically, it's the old school way of doing fruit growing apples. This is a fruit wall. This is really neat. These are all, I mean, we're talking 100-year-old apple trees right here. And they just bend them over, the stakes in the ground, and put wire in between the stakes, right? And then bend these little baby trees over and tie them to the stakes. And then every year you trim everything off that goes upward above the wire. Make like a 7-foot fruit wall, 7-foot tree. This is crazy, crazy neat though. The amount of time it takes to do this is like art right here. This is totally art. There's probably been 100 people that have trimmed on this fruit wall. Look at that. And then of course, 18-foot rhododendron with a foot diameter stump on it. I wonder where Rad went. Yeah, he's trailing. Hey, come on. This is silver leaf euonymus, variegated euonymus. These old gardens have all the old plants that people don't think about anymore. Phatzahedra. Phatzahedra is Fatsia crossed with ivy. It's pretty rare. Extremely rare. I think that's variegated Weigelia. I think. Azalea. I mean, there's trees that I have not heard of here. It does happen. So anyways, here's the wisteria arbor. Japanese maple textbook, postcard textbook. You got me. I'm talking $8,000 appraisal-ish. It'd be kind of hard to recreate it though. I mean, you move it, it's dead. But if I had to come in and say, we got to replace it because it got vandalized, and largest possible replacement plant, and then the trunk area afterward, that's crazy. It's a textbook. And then Oregon grape, state flower. But here she is. I would drive. I'll be driving all over, but this would be one of those. I'd drive here just for this, just to film. That's wisteria. There's my foot. So that's wisteria. 2-foot diameter, as in my foot, twice. And then they've got this thing that goes up through around the house. And then it circles the eave right there. Or it makes a big L. They've trimmed the fuck out of this thing. Yeah, but usually it swallows this whole area. Look at that. Look at that bracket holding it up. Yeah, the bush house. Beautiful bush house. Okay, so there is a... Anybody want to guess? 18-ish. There you go. Okay. Yep. Schwazia. Viburnum. Wow, Forsythia. You're like... what? That's a microclimate. What are we? January 4th. This is real. It's probably from a light. Probably a light on this thing at night. January 4th. See, look around, there's always something. And then camellias, big old camellias. Anybody like arbors? Check out the arbor. It's like Disneyland for a landscaper here. All right. So I'll start trying to post more. Not that I've been really active, taking time off, but when I go places, I try and document it. I haven't documented some of it. Here's a climbing hydrangea. Remember that? Talk about gorgeous. See, this place is well cared for. Well cared for. I didn't expect to do a big old plant ID video, but we had an hour to kill and I walk around. Phatzahedra. I would love to have a greenhouse like this. The property in Klamath Falls that I've got. You know, when I finally stop working, I'll live there. This would be pretty much it. All I need. High desert glass greenhouse. So this is like easy, free tour. And it's right in town. There's an old apple tree. Super old apple tree. That's a graft. See? That's the graft point. Hard to say what the bottom of it is. So old. Looks like Ravenstein. Well, I guess that's long enough. I gotta go on an errand now. Thanks for watching. Even in January.